Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Environmental Social Justice. Today, we have a special topic talking about women in leadership, and I am joined by Miss Kimberly Burkert, who is the CEO of Bala and Consulting Engineers, and Elizabeth Larsen, who is their first sustainability engineers. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm very excited to have this topic because women, especially in engineering, construction, things like that, were treated a little bit differently. It has gotten significantly better in the past 20, 30 years. But I do want to talk about, Kimberly, let's start with you. Finance and accounting degree, background in economics. You are the CEO of an engineering firm. Talk to us about navigating your career and being heard, primarily being heard by these engineers.
So I've been with Bala for 21 years. So I have a long history with the company. And in the beginning, I wasn't always heard, but I have a strong personality. I believe what I believe is right, and I speak my mind. So I am easily heard in the room. But having people really listen to me is something that developed over my time with Bala. So, originally when I first started as the controller of the company, it was like, oh, she's trying to tell me this, she's trying to do that. But over time, by sitting there and showing them that you are the authority, you are the leader, you are giving good advice. I was not a partner at the time, so my interests weren't benefiting anybody other than the company. So, but continuing to have that presence, developing that trust among the partners. I was treated as a partner before I was even a partner in the company. So I think it's really important to have a strong mentor, and I had the CEO as my mentor. It was an unofficial mentor. He didn't realize he was my mentor, but he always pushed me. He always pushed me to think outside of the box, pushed me to, really think about what I was presenting. And over time, that knowledge, that the abilities that I had were seen by the partners. And it got to the point where they were like, sometimes you might not like what she has to say, but if she's saying it, we should be concerned or we should listen. And that became, how I progressed through the company. And it is a unique experience to come from a finance background and run an engineering firm. But we say that we are a business that does engineering. So I have that experience of running a business.
I think the most important thing you said, at least for me personally, was, being in the room, being heard and being understood, and having people say, wait a minute, if Kimberly's saying that, we should be listening. Because, finance, it is a business. Finance is extraordinarily huge in any business.
My light went off.
Oh, your light went off?
Sorry.
That's okay. I totally get that. That's energy efficiency. I support that.
Yes, Elizabeth would like that.
Yeah, Elizabeth.
I could probably go off in a few minutes too.
So Elizabeth, this is your first professional job, correct? You graduated in 2021?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with my master's from Villanova.
With your master's.
Mm-hmm.
And so tell us about joining Bala and your experiences, women in leadership, being the first sustainability engineer in a company.
Yeah, I would say that I have been very fortunate to be with a group of individuals here so far who are really keyed into the idea of sustainability. And I have those people set up already to be mentors and to be those people that listen and say, hey, Elizabeth had a great point. Like, can we circle back to that? I think having that advocate in a meeting is really important. Because sometimes you can be bowled over sometimes if you're taking a second to think about an opinion or something. But I think a lot of it too is education and making sure that you talk to people outside of meetings and have some of those discussions, not necessarily in meetings when things are a little bit more high stakes and all that kind of stuff. Really being communicative and like I said, educational about, at least sustainability here, but even in other companies about your services, what what you can do, and those kinds of things. I think just having that conversation with people is really important.
You both mentioned having mentors and how important that is. And I fully support that. I think having a mentor is huge, someone that you can bounce an idea off of, go to when you're confused about something or simply don't know the answer to something. Funny story that I can share. I was at one of my companies and this guy, came up to me and says, hey, we're switching your mentor to this other dude. And I said, oh, I had a mentor? And he said, well, yeah, me. No one told me I had a mentor. He never told me he was my mentor. Just told me when it was being switched to somebody else. And I was like, so point of the story, If you are a mentor and you have a mentee assigned to you, please reach out to them, introduce yourself,
Yeah.
get to know them, because it's a huge career accelerator to have someone, you know, who has your back, who is going to support you, who's going to say, hey, you may have gotten something wrong. And I had a female woman that I worked with. She was wonderful. I screwed up huge. And I panicked, like all the blood drained out of my face. And she said, we can fix this. And she did. We worked together on the project. We fixed it and it was all saved. But that's the kind of support that will make or break you, because I could have easily crawled under my desk and just hid for the next few hours. So having a mentor is huge. But also one of the things, you know, just to segue over to the business world, something that happens frequently is the unconscious bias. And I know that, or subtle bias, some of you have had those experiences, and rather than focusing on stories or what happened to you, how do you get past that? Any advice on, you know, just ignore the naysayers, ignoring what people may say to you, and just focusing and moving forward?
Well, we spend a lot of time here at Bala doing unconscious bias training so that our staff is educated. And it can go both ways. It could be a bias towards a man or a woman. It doesn't need to be one way. And it could be towards a race. So we take DEI very serious here. So educating, I think, is really important. So what I was going to say.
So there's training. There's
obviously
sharing of
there's
information.
training.
There's, you know, because some people may not realize that they have an unconscious bias. It's just maybe the way they were raised or their experiences in life. So just getting over is like, look at the individual, not their sex, their gender, their sexual orientation.
Well, I was going to say, and your presence, the presence that you put out there, like look at the way that you present yourself, the way that people see you. So you may think you appear one way and other people may see you in a different light. And that's important to know. So I think like really understanding your presence and how you present in the room is really how you gain, you know, that respect and that authority that you need to have a say in the room.
That's really good advice, actually, because not everybody's willing to understand how they're seen. They're like, no, this is the way I look. This is the way I am. I'm projecting this image. And it may not be the way people are perceiving you. So it's very important to understand that.
And it could be like the way you look, but it's also the way you present yourself, the way you speak, the tone. You know, if you're speaking very quietly, timid, they may look at you in a certain light versus being, you know, outspoken, which not is always a good thing, but, you know, really depends on the room. So I think that's a tip that I would give anybody entering in the workforce or coming through the workforce is really understanding how you're being seen. And a mentor or a coach or someone in that arena would be great to give you that feedback if you don't have that.
Yeah. I mean, I was always told that I was very direct, and I, you know, cut my teeth in Boston and New York, and that was the normal. And I come to LA and people are like, whoa, chill. Because I just wasn't used to it. I mean, New York and Boston, you kind of have to be that hardcore aggressive. And it, you know, depends on your culture. You switch your cultures, you have to learn to adapt.
Yeah.
And learning to adapt also means overcoming certain obstacles. So Elizabeth, let's start with you on this one. Any obstacles that you've had in the past, how would you navigate through that? Being your first job, I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah, well, definitely have been through a few instances of unconscious bias just in college, grad school, that kind of stuff. I distinctly remember a few instances going to a career fair in talking to people who are in industries like mining and construction and kind of more of those labor-intensive industries, and them thinking, what? A woman wants to work on a job site, or our plant is far too gross for a woman. Like, I don't think you want to intern with us. And I was like, no, I really do. And so I think being clear and being direct in saying, no, this is what I'm looking for. I am excited about an opportunity to, you know, have a new experience, get dirty, whatever that means to them, and have that opportunity. I would say also it's another thing about being heard, just making sure that you are speaking up and having that confidence. Your voice and your opinion is just as important as anyone else's in the room. I remember a distinct moment in a meeting in grad school where I spoke up. This was one of our first opportunities to really get it together as a team. And I spoke up during that meeting. I had a dissenting opinion, but it was still a valid one. And I said it with confidence, and I could see the shift in the room. Everyone after that was like, she's a leader. She knows how to work on a project. And from then on, I got put in so many different leadership opportunities. I got talked to differently rather than just someone on the team. They always asked, well, Elizabeth, what do you think? So I think having the courage to do it once makes it so much easier after that. But can really, if you can go with confidence and have a well thought out opinion and add it into the conversation, I think that's critical to, that success. And I've taken those learnings with me and brought it here. And, it's been great so far. I haven't needed to use any special strategies to be heard. Everyone here really has been an advocate for sustainability and for me personally. But that's something that hopefully can help other people just taking that leap. And if you aren't heard the first time, say it again. I think that's totally worth it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that because speak up, be loud, be present, be there. I unfortunately was not given that advice growing up. I was told to be quiet, keep your nose to the grindstone, you'll be noticed. That is really terrible advice, folks. Don't do that. Because I always worked in the background. I always worked very quietly. And people are like, well, what do you do all day? I'm like, I'm extraordinarily busy. I don't wave my flags. So best advice for women out there and men, anyone out there, wave your flag when you're starting your career. Be vocal, be noticed, because that will carry you for the rest of your life. It absolutely will. And segueing back to navigating your career, Miss Kimberly, any advice for young ones, men, women, anyone, starting their career and best way to get noticed without being overly loud?
Well, it's very apparent here, whether you're a man or a woman, that equals rise. And we see hard workers and we see the effort people put in, and you just see them. I mean, they're seen. And so it's hard work, dedication, the things that seem like should be normal, everyday responsibilities, people that are looking to make a difference. We did start an internal mentorship program, which I oversaw the program internally. So I'm a mentor to one of the female engineers that we have here, and she's asking the question saying, how do I become a partner someday? How do I get there? For us as leaders going, this is the next generation. That's what we're looking for, is people that are interested in getting to that next level, that somebody at that age would feel comfortable asking that question, where there's people above her that may not feel that confident to ask that question. So we were excited about it. We're like, as leaders, we want to make sure, and my light went off again.
Yeah, it's okay.
We have a next generation of leadership coming up to continue the legacy of the company. So it's exciting to see that. So I think go-getters get noticed, and the times have changed where careers have changed. People don't live for their careers like we did growing up. So it's not about hours worked, it's about effort work. So we're not impressed if you work 80 hours a week. We'd be really happy to get a good 40 hours a week, and not even, it's about what you're producing, not even the time, but that's what really get recognized. And so I would give that advice. I would give the advice of, always giving back, philanthropy. I feel like that always makes you a well-rounded person, which we take serious here as well. We started, a philanthropy day where people can take a day off and get paid for that day to give back to the community, which all goes with sustainability. And, we really feel that that's important as well. So make yourself well-rounded, get involved. But the kids today, and I probably shouldn't say kids, the students coming out of school are really well-rounded, and they're way more impressive than we were when we graduated. They have so many different experiences coming out of school, which has been great, and it's exciting to see.
I completely agree with that. I've seen some young adults, anywhere from the early 20s to early 30s, hugely impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got the formula down for the work-life balance, getting your output and your production down without, I was always encouraged, spend as much time in the office as possible, you'll be noticed. And it's like, it's hard to do when you're, to get there at 6:30 in the morning and leave at 7 o'clock at night. It wears you out. And it's not necessarily being productive. Those are my dogs. I have dogs. Bella, stop.
I actually, we have a new employee that every night when I leave, he's still here. And I said, this is nice to see because you don't see that these days. I said, every night when I leave, this guy's still here. And the other partner said to me, I'm not sure that's a good thing. Like, do we want him working like every night like that? But to me, starting out and showing that initiative and show that you care and you're really trying to get ahead and make a difference, like from the get-go, shows a work ethic that is what I'm used to growing up with. So it was nice to see, but not necessary. Like you said, it's not about,
It's a
we want people to
balance.
have the work-life balance. We want them, to be engaged while they're here, but not make this their life.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you're first starting out, you're also learning the ropes. You're learning,
Yeah.
Who's who, where the programs are, how does the internet work?
Yeah.
Where's all the corporate information that people say, go find it? You're like, where? So on that, let me give Elizabeth one last say. Being the first sustainability engineer for such a large firm as Bala Consulting Engineers, tell us, you love it. I know you love it because you and I've had the conversation, but being the first sustainability engineer, that's huge. That's gigantic.
Yeah, to me, hearing about it the first time really felt like a once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to work for such a great company and help grow a program with them. So I've absolutely loved it so far. We're coming out with some really great stuff and doing a lot of good work. And like Kim said, it's not just the environmental focus. It's the philanthropy, working in our communities. It's the focusing on well-being and health and all that kind of stuff. And I love just how much that ties together and how we end up with such holistic and better solutions for not only ourselves and our planet, but also everyone around the globe.
The community greatly benefits from that. Absolutely. And that's actually, I love the fact that companies like yours are focusing on just the community, not necessarily stakeholders, but shareholders, or reverse that. You understand what I'm saying?
Stakeholders.
So thank you guys for talking about women in leadership. Your advice is extraordinarily valued because it's important that women understand it's okay to be vocal. It's okay to be loud. It's okay to be heard.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. We're equal. We're just as smart. We went to the same schools. We got the same degrees.
I do want to say that I feel hopeful that things are changing. I've seen a lot of progress across the board with women in leadership roles. And, so I think that there's a lot of great opportunities where we need to focus in the engineering space on getting more women in engineering. And that's going to start at a younger level. So we've been making it a priority to work with ACE mentorship program and high school programs to try to get STEM out there to women. And we're seeing more and more women enter the workforce in the engineering space. So
love that. Yeah, women in engineering. I mean, first of all, I love engineers. All y'all are smart beyond anything I can think about. Actually, I met many engineers when I was in school being just a geologist, and you guys intimidated the hell out of me. I saw what you guys were working on. I was like, I'm just going to stick to my rocks. So on that, I thank you both, Kimberly, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Thank you both for your time today. I know you're very busy, so I'm grateful. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful day, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.